Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Alistair and this is Accessible Photography, and you might have guessed from the thumbnail one of two things, and the reason I say that is I'm changing the thumbnail in a couple of weeks time, maybe even sooner. Initially you don't know what is in this box. After I change the thumbnail you know damn well what's in that box, and that's why you're here. You're here to see that. I nearly said it. Got a new camera. I'm very happy. Going to open it just now in front of you and show you what it is and talk a little bit about why I bought it. But let's get on and have a look at this. I'm going to change the camera so you can see better. And for those that are worried, I'm recording with the Nikon Zf. The Zf is going to remain one of my main cameras. It's not gone. So if you signed up for the Zf because you saw me using it, I will still be using it. But this is to replace my Nikon D850, which was too darned heavy, especially since I fell ill a couple of years ago. Let's get the unboxing done. Okay, let's have a go. Right, I have done unboxings before, but I just never published them. I don't know why. But this one is definitely getting published. So the first clue is it's not brand new. If you know the logo, you'll know this is from MPB, so it's second hand, and I'm not advertising MPB. I've not been sponsored by MPB, and I could probably have got a better deal from Wex Photography. Or so I was told. So, right, the first thing that bothered me was it rattled a lot in the box. Something about the box rattles a bit too much. It's not packed in there very well. So let's have a look at the top of the box. Yep, I got the Nikon Zf, and it says kit. It says 40-2 kit. That's not what I actually bought. So we have the ZF manual, Z. So that's all German, French, Netherlander and Italiano. That can go. English, Russian, Polski and Espanol. And let's open it up. If there's a lens in here, I'm going to be very surprised. Okay, well, that's where the lens would have been. No lens. Because MPB, I'm looking at the screen. MPB tend to sell by the camera body and not with a lens attached. So whether they received this with a lens, I don't know, but they're certainly not selling it with the lens, which would have made it a lot more expensive. So let's get rid of some of the bits and pieces. So I've got my USB-C cable, I got the battery looking a bit dusty, that's what's been rattling about. So it's not, I didn't spot that when I bought it, it's not the proper battery, it's a Duracell. Maybe that's a spare, but I doubt it. And the original unopened Nikon strap. So they're normally very good at packing these, and I think it's okay. I'm going to get rid of this. So here it is, my nice new second-hand Nikon Zf. And I'm just going to check the battery. No, so I didn't get a Nikon battery with it. I got a Duracell, but I've kept a few of my batteries anyway, so I'm quite happy with that. So let's have a look at this in detail. So here it is, and it's looking quite nice. There's no marks, a little bit of dust on it now, but that's fine. It looks nice on top. One thing about MPBs, they tend to clean them really, really well. It's even got the label still on there. That's the first thing I'll be taking off. I usually put it in here. Looking nice. So if you don't know the Nikon ZFC and the Nikon Zf, the key thing about it is that it's like a manual camera. It's actually very similar to, and I'll just get it, to this camera here. So we'll just take the lens off this one. So the idea is that the camera is almost the same as the old FE2. Some people say it's more like a more modern camera than the FE2. And really what it is bang bang, really what it is I've got the ISO over here, which obviously for film you only set once, whereas I've got the ISO here, which you can adjust as much as you want. And with the new firmware update, when you go to C, you get auto ISO. You get your shutter speeds here, and then your compensation there. So you would have your shutter speeds in here, and I don't think this one has a compensation. Oh, it has a little compensation button down here, and that's ISO. I've forgotten where the compensation is. That can go away. So this is a little camera. One of the things that I'm looking forward to is the fact that it has a proper shutter. I was hoping that the shutter would be down all the time, covering up the sensor. I really wanted it to be doing that, but it's got a mechanical shutter in there, which sounds very nice. I'm wondering, do you think they gave me some power in this? Will it switch on? It's switched on, but of course there's no lens on it. Doesn't that sound lovely? So while I'm doing the edit, I realise I didn't do something that's quite important, and that's to give the first impressions with this camera. I didn't go to a shop and check it out first. I've never met anyone that has one, so I've never felt the camera. And I was a bit worried about whether it was going to be too heavy for me. As I said, I got the ZFC specifically because I wanted a light camera. But when you get the ZFC, it does feel plasticky. It feels light and plasticky and cheap. It works really well. And the best thing I can recommend for anyone with ZFC is to put a grip on. So it's got a base plate and then a grip, and it makes the camera far more solid. This, however, is solid right from the start. It's got a nice weight to it. It's not overly heavy. It's got a nice weight, and I feel quite comfortable. I'm going to show you what I bought for it, and I will say that when it's a lens, that when that's on, it does start to get a little bit heavy. So I probably will buy a grip for this, just so I've got something better to handle, especially when I'm out and about. But if I want it to have its nice retro aesthetics, then I'll probably take that off, because it adds a lot to the camera. The other thing is, yeah, I was a bit disappointed when I opened up and there's no curtain there. It is just the sensor. I'm already finding I'm having to blow off some of the dust that's getting onto that. I've read an article since, and apparently these are really designed for street photography, where you have one lens, you stay with that lens all the time and you never really change it. That's not really practical in the real world. You do want to change lenses, so it's probably better to get an all-in-one lens. I did look at the Tamron. I think it was 24 thereabouts to 400. I did look at it and eventually decided it was probably just a bit too big. It's not a big lens, but I thought maybe just a bit too much to start with. I might go down that route later, where you've got something from fairly wide to a very big zoom lens. The other thing with this I have noticed is, and I've checked this out, is, can you hear this? It clunks, and that is actually, let's see, you get into the light, the sensor does actually move. Now I don't know if you can even see that very well. Let's get the focus. See, there's an edge at the top there because it's down, it's moved down. I do that, it's now that way. The sensor moves within the camera, and it's meant to. I wouldn't have thought it was meant to, but that is built-in design. It's part of the IBIS, and it's part of the pixel shifting that it's allowed to do. The only thing is, other cameras will have similar, but they have a lock on it. So when it's switched off, and even when it's switched on, it can give that clunk. So that's a bit disconcerting, and you feel you don't really want to rattle the camera in case you damage something. But you shouldn't be shaking your camera anyway. So that was the only thing that made me go, oh, is this camera okay? Because being second hand, you never know. Now, MPB do a very good check of cameras before they send them out, but I was still worried. So I went on and checked what that was all about. Because I've never seen anyone in any video mention that. Okay, let's get on with what I'm talking about here, and we'll have a look at what I got to go with this. Now, what happened the other day was this.
Are you happy now, love? Still wander the city streets. It's getting easier with love. Lower the beat of my aching heart. Happier, are you happier?
And here it is, my nice brand new Tamron 28-75 Z mount full frame, especially for this camera. Sorry. And that's my new setup. You might ask, why have I gone for 28-75 f2.8 when I could have had a 24-70 from Nikon? Well, the answer is quite simple. Money. Do you know how much the 24-70 is? It's twice as expensive as this lens here, and by all accounts this is a good lens. It's the first lens I've had, apart from I've got a Sigma and I need a cradle for that, but this is the first time I've got a lens with a USB-C port to update the firmware on a lens. I've never had that before, so that's quite something. And I think it looks okay on that camera. Obviously what I'm going to be doing is adding smaller lenses to this and getting that sort of nice street camera view type of look. But at the moment I'm going to be using this as the main lens, 28-75. And yeah, I'm looking at this going, this is really nice. Listen to that, can you hear that? I'm going to try to get it in focus for you. Lovely. So these are brass, they're painted brass, and some people have been taking the paints off to show the brass effect. I will leave it as it is. And everything else is normal. It's got what looks like a shutter release where you could put a cable release in, but apparently it doesn't. So it's got the hole there and the thread, but it doesn't actually take a cable release, which sucks in my mind, but never mind. One of the key features that I'm interested in, and I didn't really think I would be, but I'm quite keen to try it out, is this one here, that you can switch between video camera and black and white stills. That could be really, really useful. So I can't really say too much about this camera. Everybody under the sun has talked about the ZF So there's lots of videos you can go and have a look at, but I just wanted to show you what I got to play with. Shall I put one of the small lenses on, let you see what that's like? So this is the Nikon f35mm f1.4 by Ultralab in Hong Kong. And move that out of the way. And as it says, it's just a little 35mm lens. Not one of these enormous things that are being built these days. It's just as simple as they were in the past. And back in the 80s, a nice little lens. And the beauty of this is it's got a clickable f-stop. So what I'll do is I'll set the camera up to accept this lens, and away I go. I'll have a nice clickable aperture and manual focus. Now, one of the things with this camera is it has one of the best focus systems available, where if I'm photographing someone or an animal, it will pick up the eye even in manual mode, and it will show green when I've captured the actual focus properly, the same as an autofocus would, which is far superior to anything I've used before. And you can also, once you've done that, once you've got it focused, you can then hit the button at the back, the OK button. It will zoom into that eye, not the center of the screen, but the eye that the box was on, and then you can just make sure it's absolutely in focus before you take the picture. That will help me immensely. And that is my Nikon Zf with my little 35mm attached. I do like it. So what possessed me to buy a Nikon Zf when there's other cameras like the Z6 III, I think it is, and the Z5 II, or is it the other way around? I can't remember. New varieties, new variations have just come out, and by all accounts they're really, really good. There's two things at play. One, ever since this came out, I've wanted one. And when I bought the ZF-C, this wasn't around at the time. I bought the ZF-C, which is a very light camera and was deliberate so that I had something light to carry instead of a big heavy camera. I kind of knew when I bought it that a new camera would come out. I thought it might be the ZF-C 2 or something, but no, they brought out the ZF. Chances are they'll bring out a ZF 2 next, but this is what they brought out, and I fell in love with it. Just looking at it, I watched all the videos about it, I watched comparison videos about it, and it's still what I prefer. The reason being is partly because of the lovely retro aesthetics about it, but it is that retro styling that I like the most. It's the knobs on the top here. With my medical condition, ME, and I thought this was just me, and I've actually found out from others as well, it's very difficult to remember where things are in a menu system on the inside. And there's numerous times I will go out in the field, I want to change a setting, and I can't change it because I can't remember where it is in amongst that menu. And all I really want was a camera that I could use as a manual camera and go and take photographs. Most of my photography is just landscape and scenes. It's not running around and moving. I don't have to be fast. I'm a slow photographer. If you watch my videos, you'll know I'm a slow, steady photographer. And that's, I think, why some people have probably subscribed. I think people have subscribed because I was using the ZF-C. I think some people have subscribed because I take my time. And when I'm talking like this, I'm not doing jump cuts all the time so that it's just rattling through a lot. I find that very difficult to follow. I wanted a camera that I could adjust the ISO, the speed, and maybe a bit of compensation where it can. And the f-stop is generally this wheel here, but on something like this, the f-stop is where it belongs, on the barrel of the lens. I was going to say the barrel of the gun, but that's a different hobby. The barrel of the lens. So welcome back to the editing suite. I'm going to finish off here. This is because I kind of got myself distracted with what I said there, and the script that was in my head just vanished completely. So I was talking about the manual controls on the top of the camera, very much like the ZFC. And just like the ZFC, if you don't know these cameras at all, there's also a customizable menu at the back of the camera here, which when you click that, it brings up a little menu along the bottom here. And that you can customize with the key things that you will want when you're out shooting. And it saves you going into a menu and having to decide, do I want the pencil, do I want the wrench, have I put it into my own little menu at the bottom. If you've got it on the customizable menu, then what you want is going to be there. So anything that you want to change or likely to change on a fairly regular basis, you can put it into there. So you've got a very simple to use camera, and that's the same for the ZFC as it is for this. Although I have found I can't match the menus. I wanted to match them up completely so that I could just have muscle memory and go to where I wanted when I wanted. They're not exactly the same, and you can get a lot more on the customizable menu with this than you can with the ZFC. So I'm very happy with this. One of the things on it is the non-CPU lenses. So I can list the non-CPU lens. That's a lens that doesn't have the connectors and doesn't give the information through to the camera. So that little no Nikon 35mm lens that I've got, I can put that on and I can bring it up. So when I bring that up, it's actually named. I've now named it what it is and what size millimeter lens it is. In the past it was just 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you can actually put in the name of the lens, because if it's numbered, I'll never remember what the numbers are. That's my brain. And in the past I didn't use that function. I had the same function in the D850. You also had banks for storing menu setups in the D850. I can never remember what they did. It just says bank 1, bank 2, bank 3. Didn't mean anything to me. So to be able to put your own title in is important. So I'm happy with that. What else have I got on there? I've got autofocus functions. I've left on the ability to turn this off onto aircraft mode, because it is a Wi-Fi camera, same as the ZFC. But the difference now with this compared to this version before the recent firmware update to 2.0 is I can have this backing up to a cloud all the time. So if I'm out and about on a big photo trip, I've got one booked in for September, October. Now I'm traveling. My travel videos don't seem to go down too well, but I like traveling, I like making videos, so I'm going to do it. When I'm traveling, I'm going to be in the Far East, I can basically back this up as I go. It will back up to the Nikon cloud, which is free for a month, and I can actually set it up to go straight across to whatever cloud I want to be using at the time. But the chances are I'll be able to come home after 2.5 weeks. I'm only away for 2.5 weeks, and everything will be sitting for me in the Nikon cloud. It'll also be backed up when I'm away, but it just gives that extra layer of protection. So that's great. That's why you have the aircraft mode on this, so it doesn't interfere with the aircraft, supposedly. I think reality is they don't want the phones and such connecting to masts on the ground. It causes confusion. That's another story. See, I get distracted really easily. So yes, this is my new camera, my new lens. I'm very happy with it, and I will see you at the first shoot out with it, which will hopefully be very soon. The weather just now is awful. I was going to go away with a caravan this weekend. It's effectively my birthday weekend, or it's beginning of next week. This is my birthday present to myself. I am, believe it or not, 60. I'm 60 on Tuesday, and this video will probably come out just before then. and that's why I've got this nice new camera. It's my birthday present, so to me. So yep, I'll see you out sometime soon when the weather improves enough to get out and about and take pictures. Until then, bye for now, and remember, get out, take pictures, and have fun. Bye.